Hey guys, Ben Levante here, and in today's video, I wanted to talk about productivity and specifically productivity optimization and how most people got it completely wrong, and how doing less is actually doing more or doing better. So let me explain. All of us have come across all of those software tools to, optimize your day, your to-do lists, your tasks, and all that. And, you know, basically about getting things done. And I'm guilty of that myself. We sign up to those tools and we're just, trying to be more organized and we will think we're going to be more productive with that. However, that's not the case simply. Um, the way to be more productive is to actually do the things and just remove distraction. And in order to do that, we need to first of all understand what is taking away energy. Because all of us wake up in the morning and we have a certain amount of energy that is just set. We cannot change that. And it's very important for us to, utilize that energy. It's kind of like you having a car and you have your tank full with gas and you have to reach a certain destination and you're not going to get more fuel on the way there. So what does that mean? You have to take the shortest way to get there to make sure that you don't run out of fuel on your way there. So that means basically you cannot just, on the way there, go visit a friend, run some errands and stuff, because probably you're not going to reach your destination just because of lack of gas, which equals like lack of energy. So let me just write that down here and explain it. Energy. You see, my energy is already kind of drained for today. All right. Basically, this is us. And we have, let's say we have 5 units of energy. And we utilize those in different fields or different areas. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. These are our 5 units of energy done. They're used up. That's it. So this was maybe work, this was maybe a hobby, this was maybe a side project, this was maybe figuring out what to eat today, like all your food activities and etc. All right. Now let's say this is another us. This is the actual optimized us. And we're utilizing or we're funneling our units of energy into just one thing. Where does that bring us? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What does that look like? Where does this take you? This takes you somewhere. This doesn't take you anywhere. This moves nowhere very slowly. This moves somewhere very fast. And now as an example, let's say we're doing a business, right? So we have this crazy idea that we're very convinced about, and still somehow we're like, yeah, but you know what? I'm just gonna still, keep my main job. I'm not gonna compromise certain things. I care too much about food, so I'm not gonna, compromise with that. I'm just gonna, still um, cook for myself or figure out what I like to eat or, other things or friends or hobbies or whatever. But let's say you actually want this project, that is your priority to succeed. In order to do that, you have to change to this model where you just focus on one thing and you cut all of this. You cut all of these, wasted energy units and you funnel them into just one thing. And, if we don't change our day or we don't take control of our day, someone else will do it for us. And this is when we lose or when we shift somewhere where we don't want to go. And I discussed this, or like I talked about this in one of my videos, which was the identity drift model, where certain actions, small actions, take you somewhere completely different, not where you want it to go. And when you figure out what is your priority, and then you say, all right, you know what, for those few months, I'm gonna, compromise everything, and I'm just gonna give all my energy into this thing. It is guaranteed to work. You know, most things in life are guaranteed to work. However, it's about the amount of effort, compromise, sacrifice, and patience you're willing to put into it in order to move there. So, let me give you some more examples about how you can actually optimize. And I'm not talking about all these bullshit, softwares where adding your to-do list and you're thinking, oh, I'm so productive. I have these are all your tasks, and you're like, check, 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 check. I'm getting so much stuff done today. This is bullshit. Just just do one thing and you focus on that only and you get it done. So let me explain. For example, food. You're like probably wondering, like, why is he talking about food? You don't understand that food is such a big part of your day, because usually there's like 3 meals: morning, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you have to, for each meal, you're thinking on what you're gonna eat. If you're ordering, you're choosing like what restaurants to choose from. And if you have a partner or a wife or a girlfriend or whatever, you're gonna ask her to, like, ask her, hey, where do you want to eat? And then by the time you kind of figure out what you want to eat, time will be wasted. Energy is just wasted in that thinking process or decision making. And then you order the thing, you're already starving, and then by the time the food reaches, we're just gonna eat again. Like, it takes time, just so much time wasted. Now let's multiply that times 7, right? That's 7 hours. Let's now multiply that times the whole month. That's 30 hours, and you can continue that, how much time is wasted. And now you're thinking like, hey, but dude, I have to eat. What do you mean, like, compromise food? There's ways to optimize food by just either hiring a chef. I have a maid that takes care of a lot of those things. Or you prep all your meals. If you can't afford it, you prep all your meals on a Sunday. You put them in the fridge or in the freezer, and whenever it's time to eat, you don't even have to think about like, oh, what am I going to eat today? No, you have the food ready, and you just eat whatever you prepared the day, or that last Sunday before, or whoever, the person that prepared the stuff for you. So all of that decision making energy, that's already one unit, right? That's already one unit that we got rid of. Now let's say you have a crazy business idea, but you're still like in your 9 to 5, and you're like, oh, I cannot risk it. I cannot risk it. So you're gonna keep your priority project, which is actually your dream. You're gonna sacrifice your dream, and you're gonna keep doing your 9 to 5 job, thinking, oh, I would rather play it safe. Get rid of that one. Put all your energy here, because this is guaranteed to work if you put in the energy. So what does that mean? You have to, you have to take risks. You have to compromise in order to utilize your units of energy into what matters. And I mean, I see this with all the successful people that I've ever met. They have one thing in common, literally. They focused on one thing only, and they suffered for years until that one thing worked out. And then maybe after a couple of years, when they're already kind of successful, and they have a lot of people working for them, that they maybe start a second business. But before that, they were just funneling all of their energy into one thing. They were probably compromising family. Sucks, but that's the price. Compromising food, they were probably not thinking, oh, what am I going to eat? Um, Even clothing, right? Like, a lot of us just wear the same, stuff every day. Or there's people who, people who are optimized, they wear like tend to wear the same things every day. But then there's people who literally choose their outfits every day, and like, oh, what am I going to buy? What am I going to wear tomorrow? Especially women. But anyway, so get rid of all these things, because doing less means doing more, right? So depending on whatever task list you have here for your day, it's like, oh, working on your main on 9 to 5, right? That's one big thing, and that has a lot of subtasks. Then you have food. That's another thing. Then you have clothing. That's another thing. Then you maybe have friends, right? Success is guaranteed only if you cut off certain things and focus on one thing. And we see this with athletes too. If you look at a lot of athletes, what do? First thing, they wake up in the morning, they just go and practice, right? And they do this every day, and that's why they're successful. So consistency really helps you to achieve your dreams. And the moment you are here, other things get more easy. And another thing to optimize your day is setting certain routines for yourself. So let's talk about an optimized day, kind of like military style, because the moment you kind of keep your days free and open is when you kind of um, fall in the trap of becoming inefficient. So let's say, I'm just going to talk for myself. I start my day at between 6:30 to 7. So let's just do 7 a.m. to be a bit more reasonable, all right? So what do? First thing I do is I go to the gym, so let's say by 7:10, brush my teeth and so on. I go to the gym. I have a gym here in my place. Then I will finish, like kind of be back to shower and stuff by 8 a.m. And then I take a very short shower. You don't need long showers. 5 to 6 minutes is optimal. You don't want more than that. So by around 8:15, I'm all dressed and ready and I'm working. And what am I working on first? The most important tasks. So this is where you have to kind of like decide what matters to you, what is important for you, and you just tackle that. You switch off your phone. This is sort of like your monk mode. So whatever time you're working, if you're efficient enough, you can literally finish your day at 1 p.m. and be free already, be done. What matters here is monk mode. What does monk mode mean? Monk mode means no distractions, no phone, muting all of like other random notifications, even emails. If you're working on something and you keep jumping between messages or emails, that's a big distraction. And I had another video where I talked about 1,000 cuts theory. What does 1,000 cuts means? If you have this productivity time, which is your chunk of work that will take you somewhere. Let's say now we start introducing cuts, message notification, email, someone, a random call. You're cutting this up and you're ruining this block of focus work that you need in order to become successful. So this time you utilize what I'm trying to say is you're going to utilize your time in a way that it takes you somewhere, which is your goal, and you're going to just remove distractions. So instead of just signing up for all those random productivity apps and which is sort of a procrastination in itself, you're going to start your military schedule of your military routine, just waking up early, following the same routine every day, and removing all of your distractions, prioritizing the main tasks that you need to be doing. Less is more. Everything that doesn't matter, skip it, cut it off. The biggest thing that you need to finish today, to make today a successful day, that's what you work on. All distractions gone. If you're efficient enough, you can literally finish your day by 1 p.m. 1 p.m., you will eat the lunch that is already prepared. So you save that kind of time here where you're not thinking about what you're going to be eating. You can have a short break after, and then you get back to work. And maybe you can even add friends or things that make you happy. But in order to make this more enjoyable for you, it means to remove a lot of these distractions and to kind of understand that this is what it takes to get to your goal. And this is a start. Sorry for the bad styling, the drawing here, but I hope this kind of helps you to understand what you need to be focusing on in order to achieve your dreams and your goals. And for me, frankly, it has helped a lot to get there.